Will be the last question and comment coming from Abhinav Joshi. What Abhinav is talking about is he expects, as everyone is talking about, a larger voter turnout this time. So there would be also a large percentage of first-time voters. So what's your personal message? What's your personal appeal to all the voters in Pune, especially for the first-time voters?
First time voters, as I've always said before, don't worry about party labels. These are labels you have been seeing for 50 years. Every political party is similar in terms of corruption, in terms of not being secular. If you find something wrong that the Congress did in 1984 in Delhi, you find the same thing done in Gujarat under Modi. So forget party labels for a change. If you want to make a difference, do a bit of research. Half an hour of research, select the best candidate, put your vote there. It's not only because you want some good people in parliament who are independent and not under party discipline. As I suggested earlier, they will be independent. They will actually suggest the real reform needed. They will not be dominated by parties, and that's what you need. That is what was envisaged in the Constitution. The American Constitution also thought of this. Parties develop much later. It's an extra constitutional development. So vote for good people. Number one, it will benefit your legislatures and the country and the issues that you wish to highlight. Only these people will be able to highlight it in Parliament. Number two, do a bit of research and find out people who've got the best track record. Because otherwise you'll be lost. You'll be totally confused. Everybody's good, everybody's an MA, everybody's done a PhD, somebody's a doctor, somebody's an engineer. How do you choose? Karya is a very nice word in Hindi. Karma. What work has he done? In objective terms, in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years, has he actually fought for corruption, gone to police stations, lodged FIRs, lodged PILs, written articles, given lectures? And number two, has he suffered for it? See, there are a lot of people who sit and say, I wrote an article, I did this, I did that. But has he paid a price? Has he suffered? Has he or she suffered for fighting against corruption? From why my promotion was denied, I had to go to court and then obtain it. I had to retire 2 runs below where I should have been. I was transferred 26 times. I suffered, my family suffered. It was a real mess. Bad reports. Corrupt people are assessing you. If you're in a corrupt service, what happens is you may be honest, but your subordinate is corrupt and your boss is corrupt. And the boss actually sits down and writes your what's called confidential report. Arun Bhatia is a good officer, a bad officer. Can you imagine what hell it is to be in a service, in a system like that, where corrupt people are assessing you all the time, transferring you all the time? As soon as you put your finger on some big corruption, you're removed year after year after year. My son grew up seeing his father come back from the office red-faced, sweating, and answering some show-cause notice. While other officers were playing tennis in the club, children were going on picnic. This is what my family went through. They gave me a show-cause notice because I said I did a report on malnutrition child deaths in Nasik and Dhulia. I did that report. And they objected that this is against the view of the government. These are not malnutrition-related child deaths. And I said, all right, prove it to me. Go there. We've got all our statistics. That they didn't do. But notice to Arya. All my life, just one notice after notice. So that's the price you pay. Colleagues don't like you because they are jealous also and they are resentful. In those days, getting transferred meant you're an idiot. You can't work. You can't run an office. You can't work with other people. You're an egoist. You're arrogant. All types of adjectives. It's not good to be employed anyway. We faced all that. We were ostracized in service. People didn't want to mix with me and my wife. Today, the atmosphere is different. When an officer is transferred 25 times, we say he's a good guy. He's the right guy. He wants to change things. He is unacceptable to a corrupt system. You see how it's changed? You go to the press and they say, good, he's blown the whistle. He's exposed the corruption in his establishment. I must have got at least 7, 8 show-cause notices when I used to go to the press for protection. You're fighting the mafia in Bombay. Tomorrow he's going to run over you in all those death threats keep coming. He'll run over you in a in a truck or something. So what do? We go to the press, and that time you get a notice. Today, if I were in service and I went to the press, people would appreciate it and say, "What an honest man." So things have changed. The atmosphere has changed. And let's hope it keeps changing for the better. But you need to go by candidates and track record. For God's sake, not by party labels. You should learn that by now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Arun Bhatia, for your time in the busy schedule of the election campaign. And thanks again for being participating into this Google Hangout. We'll be closing this Google Hangout, but we'll be having another Google Hangout very soon because there are so many questions which are still unanswered.